Welcome to the Thought Leadership Series featuring interviews with some of the best minds in the industry. Today's special guest is popular platform speaker and best-selling author Tom Hagman. I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and talk show host. In this segment, we're going to talk about the new retirement paradigm based on income and not on asset accumulation. We're going to talk about covering living expenses, optimizing your portfolio against inflation, the long-term care risk, and the transfer of wealth, all in Tom's book, Paychecks and Playchecks. Well, Tom, this is going to be a packed session. There's a lot to talk about. These are four main principles. Why don't you address the first one? Let's walk through this.
Yeah, so, everybody thinks retirement's so complicated. The more I study retirement, the simpler and simpler and simpler it gets. In fact, let me make your own retirement as simple as I can. The ultimate success of your retirement is going to depend on your answer to these two questions. And I'm not going to ask how big your 401k is. Do you have a big investment account, or do you have a fancy house? No, because the success of your retirement is not about your assets. It is not about your assets. Now, this is a paradigm shift because we've been taught that the success of our retirement is going to be how big we can build that pile of money. And the bigger the pile of money, the better our retirement. That's not true. Your assets can be lost, they can be stolen, they can be swindled, they can be sued, they can be divorced, they can be decimated in a market crash. In fact, if you think about it, your assets are simply numbers on a piece of paper. Think about it. And for the rest of your life, those numbers on that piece of paper are only ever going to do two things for you. You are either going to spend that money or you're going to give that money. That's it. You're either going to spend it or you're going to give it. You're either going to give it when you're alive or you're going to give it when you die. So when you really study the math and science behind retirement, it comes down to this. What is the most efficient way for me to get the most amount of income that I can spend and 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 never run out? And what's the most efficient way for me to give money to others? And what you're going to find is the most efficient way to get the most amount of income that you can spend and spend and spend and spend and spend and never run out is going to be some form of an annuity. And the most efficient way to give money to others is going to be some form of life insurance. So the ultimate success of your retirement is going to come down to your answers to these two questions. How much guaranteed lifetime income do you have? Not what was your rate of return on your stock portfolio? Did you get 13% or 10%? That has nothing to do with it. How much guaranteed lifetime income do you have? And have you taken those key retirement risks that we've been talking about off the table?
Now, this is a really important issue because most people that you introduce this to consumers for the first time don't even know we have such products, number one, and they have not even thought about their own human longevity. And usually when you start looking at these numbers, especially what they're projecting, baby boomer females, non-smoker, healthy, good diet, exercise, all these gals are going to be seeing 90s, 100. I mean, think about it. Isn't it, I think it's Willard Scott that used to say happy birthday to a handful of Americans who turn 100 every day. That number is huge every day.
And it's increasing.
So the only way to take the risk off the table is to talk about these two subjects.
Yeah, so let me try to put everything we've talked about this week into four simple steps. If people would follow these four simple steps, and this is really the conclusion of Paychecks and Playchecks, here are the four simple steps. Step number one, you want to cover your basic expenses with guaranteed lifetime income. So the first step is to decide how much money do you need to live your normal retirement. You subtract out your Social Security because that's a guaranteed paycheck for life. It's a lifetime income annuity. You subtract out your pension because that's a lifetime income annuity. But whatever that shortfall is, that's where the annuity fits. That's not where stocks fit. That's not where bonds fit. That's not where real estate fits. That's not where CDs. That's where the annuity fits to cover those basic expenses with guaranteed lifetime income. But here's why. Because you take these risks off the table. You take longevity risk off the table. It's a guaranteed paycheck for the rest of your life. You take deflation risk because if you're getting a check and things actually go down in a depressionary environment, one of the best things to own in a Great Depression, there's no market risk, no withdrawal rate risk, no order of return risk. You took 5 key risks off the table simply by covering your basic expenses with guaranteed lifetime income. Step two, you want to optimize the rest of your portfolio to protect yourself against inflation. Inflation is another big risk. And so this other money that you got, that should go into stocks or bonds or real estate or commodities, or you can buy inflation protection guaranteed with a lifetime income annuity. Step three, you must have a plan for long-term care. No retirement plan is complete without a plan for long-term care. It's the one risk that people forget about that can wipe out their life's work. And step four, the most efficient way for you to pass your wealth to your children, grandchildren, and charities is with permanent life insurance. I say this all the time, Steve. Don't leave your kids any money. Don't leave your kids any money. Don't leave your kids any money. Spend your money. Leave them life insurance because you can leave them so much more. So one of the first things to do in your retirement plan is say, how much money do we want to leave to the kids? We want to leave them something. We don't want to leave them too much, too little. Figure out that number. And then for pennies on the dollar, you buy life insurance to go to them. Then guess what you can do with all the rest of your money? You can spend it. And you got to have that plan for long-term care. So that's really the 4 simple steps to a successful retirement.
I don't think many people address, and I've seen many planners, especially asset under management RIAs, who don't even address, I need to have a floor to take care of my expense obligations, my normal everyday living expenses. This does that. You were talking about how I'm going to use my Social Security for that, I'm going to use my pension for that, I'm going to now add annuity for any shortfall, and I've covered my expenses. And you said I could put an inflation rider on that product.
Yes, you can, and you can also buy multiple products. So you can have a deal that starts at 60, one that starts at 65, one that starts at 70, one that starts at 75. So you can ladder the products. You can buy a product that will go up every year, or you can just have your guaranteed income and then optimize with other investments, whichever works best for you.
Well, for more information on the hottest retirement topics that we've talked about, like guaranteed income, inflation protection, long-term care, and wealth transfer, and how these ideas can expand your practice, just click on the landing page address in the video description. We'll be right back with more from Tom Hagman.
A solid web presence has never been more important to the success of your business. Introducing Agent Website Creator, provided by CreativeOne. Through Agent Website Creator, you can create your own personalized website and have it up and running easily with zero knowledge of programming. Choose from several designs with easy drag and drop customization. Get proven lead generation offers, professionally written articles, and helpful financial calculators. Plus, the ability to embed videos, integrate your social media, and more. Update your website anytime and show the world within minutes. The best part? It's hosted for free. To learn more about Agent Website Creator, call your CreativeOne sales team at 800-992-2642 or visit us online at creativeone.com.
In this segment, we're going to talk about the new retirement paradigm based on income and not on accumulation. But today, we're going to subset that with the happiness factor, all from Tom's book, Paychecks and Playchecks. Well, when I think about this, we're so into, the mechanics, the actuarial science of it all. But today we're kind of being pastoral, the happy factor. And I'm thinking, well, I want to be happy. I thought money does that. But you're saying, no, there's a little bit more than just money.
Well, look, I do seminars all over the country, do public seminars, and I always ask the audience, I say, look, nobody talks about being happy in retirement, so I'm going to talk to you about being happy. When you retire, do you want to be happy or unhappy? And they say, happy. And I say, well, you didn't really sound like it. Do you want to be happy or unhappy? Then go happy. And then I say, well, the Wall Street Journal discovered the secret to a happier retirement is friends, neighbors, and a fixed annuity. See, the Wall Street Journal studied who are the happiest people in retirement. You know what they found? People surrounded by their friends, surrounded by their families, who had guaranteed paychecks every single month. And then I tell advisors, think of your clients. Who are the happiest clients? They're the ones that are retired military, retired government, retired teachers. They're all people with pensions. Now ask those people how happy their retirement would be if they didn't have that pension. They wouldn't be very happy. See, happiness in retirement is tied to income. It's not tied to assets. Some of the most miserable people in retirement, they're very wealthy, but they're scared to death of markets, interest rates, oil prices, Greece, China, Russia. You'll never be happy if you're worried about your assets. What gives you happiness is income. Now, if you don't believe me, take a look what Time magazine found in Great Britain. Lifetime income stream key to retirement happiness. A new study in the land of grumps reveals that retirees with a guaranteed lifetime income stream can find true happiness. It went on to say securing at least a base level of lifetime income should be every retiree's priority, at least if they want to live happily ever after.
Yeah, so you're correlating. I mean, you're making a direct correlation between your retirement happiness and having this thing using an annuity to take care of all your obligations and any inflation if you want.
Income. It's income equals happiness. Assets don't equal happiness. Income. And I argue guaranteed lifetime income because there are other forms of income, but guaranteed lifetime income gives you a special peace of mind. I tell people, if you still don't believe me, I want you to Google Towers Watson, annuities and retirement happiness. They did a whole white paper. You can download it for free. They looked at all retirees, old retirees, young retirees, rich retirees, poor retirees. You know what they found? All retirees were happier if they had guaranteed lifetime income. And doesn't that make sense? If you're guaranteed you'll never run out of money, you're probably going to be happier than your next door neighbor who's worried about the stock market or interest rates or Russia or China or Greece. Let me tell you a story about my own family. I grew up in a small town in Minnesota. My 2,500 people, both my parents were teachers. And if you know anything about teachers in small towns, they don't make much money. I grew up in a lower middle class family. We had all the necessities. We did not have luxuries. I had jobs. I had a paper route. I mowed lawns. I shoveled snow. If I wanted a new baseball glove, I bought it. If I wanted a new bicycle, I bought it. If I want to go to Twins game or North Stars game or Vikings game or a Harlem Globetrotters game, guess what? I had to sell more subscriptions to the Minneapolis Star and Tribune, and I did. My parents didn't have a lot of money, but my parents had pensions. My wife's parents were business owners and made a lot more money than my parents, but they had no pensions. So fast forward 50 years. My parents are in their 80s. Her parents are in their 90s. Not one time in my life have my parents expressed a concern about running out of money. They don't even think about it. They got checks coming in every single month. Every time we talk to my wife's parents, they're running out of money. In fact, they ran out of money. Why? Because they plan to live to life expectancy, which at the time was age 76. She's 92. He just died a couple months ago at age 95. What's the difference between those two halves of my own family? One half had guaranteed paychecks for life, and the other one did not.
So this is really a critical issue. This isn't just an option.
Guaranteed lifetime income, number one, is so important for the success of your retirement. Number two, for your happiness in retirement. And there's even been studies that you live longer if you got guaranteed lifetime income than if you don't have guaranteed lifetime income.
Well, I think that kind of is a support for the human condition because, you want guarantees.
Yeah.
You don't want to be sitting there wondering if it's going to happen or not. And in retirement, especially if we're going to live longer, I can actually have a little bit of inflation on some of these products and keep up with that if it occurs.
You can. And, Steve, I got the second book that I ever wrote was Retirement Income Master Secrets of the Pros. And there's a story in there. I probably don't have time in this segment to cover it, but Dick Austin is one of the masters, and he tells this story about driving through the desert and how these people were running out of gas, and they're panicking, they're arguing, they're fighting, and their eyes are on the gas gauge as it goes down, 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 and they knew they were going to run out. They just didn't know when. And he said that's why you need a lifetime income annuity, because he said everybody thinks running out of money in retirement's about the day you run out of money. He said that's not true. It's all those years when you know you're going to run out, and you're fighting, and you're arguing, and you're miserable, and all your eyes are on the gas gauge, the bank account, as it goes down, 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 and you know you're going to run out. You just don't know when. He says having a lifetime income annuity is just like having a quarter tank of gas guaranteed all the way across Death Valley. It's a great story to encourage people to take a look at it.
Well, what I really liked about his story, and when I read your book on this and this feature, was they were arguing in the car. Should I turn the AC on, or I should turn it off? Should I drive slower?
Or just faster? What's the optimal speed?
What's the optimal speed? And you use that word a lot too. And as we close out this segment, I want you to just give me one quick optimal definition of retirement.
Well, I say this is the optimal way. That doesn't mean it's going to be always the best. Nobody knows what the best is. Math and science always goes for optimal. All optimal means it will be the best more often than anything else will be the best, and it'll never be the worst. That's what optimal means, and this is the optimal way to retire.
Well, I love your word optimal. I like that, and especially when you're talking about the happiness factor. And if you want more information on the happiness factor and how this topic could help you build out your business, just click on the landing page address in the video description. And for more information on all our shows, seminars, and workshops, don't forget to follow us on social media or visit our website. I'm Steve Savant. We'll see you next time on the Thought Leadership Series, and remember, keep thinking outside the box.